the apocalyptic end time plan. Many think the end time is just a religious fantasy, but the ones who look closer will see that's actually in everything. It does not make sense to always comment the momentary events without looking further in what they prepare. What is really their end goal? This is the main question we're going to talk about in this video. We expose what is coming, and we are fully in right now. So let's see what they have planned next. If people would realize how evil this whole agenda is, they would never participate in any of these new, normal or new rules. Deception is the name of the game, and deception can look very much like the real thing. This is the moment to stay very aware of any error, because it can be fatal, mortal, and forever. We are not here to mock anyone's belief, nor the way or amount they get fooled. We all get tricked in something where we lost the visibility of what is really going on, and we are all together in this, no matter the religion, study, conviction, interpretation, or the emotional attachments we have towards things. All fanatic trolls and spammers will block themselves. At least watch the video until the end if you even want to comment. Today the confusion is not coming from the controller, but from the controlled themselves. Here we lay out a possible scenario. We are not saying this is what will happen, and we are looking forward to anyone who provide proof of fact that this is wrong. And yes, for this video we really want just to be dead wrong. So welcome to any theologian, priest, imam, rabbi, rebbe, or the Pope himself to come and prove us wrong. No belief, scripture, or any other bullshit from any sandpit indoctrination thought will be proof of fact. If this happens, what we're gonna lay out here, there is no more life for nobody, and never again. A dead earth with no more life, no human, no animal, water, air. A machine that keep people in an artificial dream world, robots, drones, nano, quantum, liquid shape, avatars. Many would say, come on, we have seen these apocalyptic movies, but let's see how much this is reality right now. So the end of time, illusion, the end of the illusion, the end of life, the end of earth. What is really the end of time? And we will also watch into all the players, religion, science, finance, geopolitical, governments, and people all over the world heading straight towards a kind of apocalyptic end time, reset, revelation, or one of this end time scenario. Probably everyone can notice religion want to return to the Messiah. The religious believers and all the others who are expecting the Messiah and accept this whole apocalyptic shit to happen, to get to their illusion of revelation, and they are playing with dead. On the other side, we have the whole new world order, and everything comes more and more in place to this new world order, and we are not there yet. Many people think this is the new world order, no, this is just a preparation, and we will see what the new world really would look like. Political, geopolitical, we see more and more how mainstream media are allowed to discredit presidents and people in control. The purpose for this is to make everyone agreed that decisions should no longer be taken by people, but by AI, artificial intelligence. So the New World Order will not have a human, but an AI as a president, and we will see who and what could be this president. In science, also play their part in this whole endgame, playing God by weather modification, aka climate crisis, geoengineering, playing with non-quantum technological brain-body technology, transhumanism, now even play with the universe to try create a black hole, and the whole idea of the eternal life is also the same as the religion illusion. So we're going to look into the Holy Scripture, the Bible, the Apocalypse, the World War, China, Russia, Israel, Revelation, redemption, eternal life, paradise, nirvana, or how they call Shamba, or the 72 virgins, or heaven, the third temple, the illusion of the temple itself, the New World Order, the digital government, CERN, the Great Reset, Klaus Schwab, climate crisis, health crisis, Antichrist, Pope, or Prince William. But let's start. We will a couple of times go over the things so that maybe we can connect the dots together. So it's the whole thing about the end time, whatever this means. But of course it is completely apocalyptic, and this is how they want to present everything in everything. So we have America completely down with a dement president. Some still claim Trump is in power. On the other side, we have the maintaining Russia, keeping the myth of a kind of danger. On the other side, we have the whole China with the social credit and this whole technology, and also they come more and more into places everywhere. And now, of course, the return of the so-called Taliban, who are the ones who have today the biggest weaponry in the whole region. And of course, the whole point where everything comes together to Israel and the whole revelation, the third temple and all these things. So the tension are rising from everywhere, geopolitical, but not only. Many catastrophe. We have flood, burst again, fire, insects like in Africa, in Australia, in America, they had a couple of this invasion. Storms everywhere, and of course the huge actual crisis that we have, and this whole intervention in so-called health service. And the world is broke. Europe is broke. That's why they maintain this whole agenda on the top, that nobody see that Europe is completely broke, America is completely broke. The whole stock market has already gone down almost 2 years ago, but because of this crisis, they made a lot of money to keep it up a little bit. Exactly what artificial intelligence would suggest to do, as we have said in the video. And of course, this whole Great Reset of Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum that we have exposed 1.5 years ago. Everybody say this is stupid. Today everybody talk about, of course, this whole protests everywhere, leading to a revolution, and the revolution never bring less government than before. And of course, all these people who talk about this end time, others talk about the alien invasion or the the alien who will come to save us. They talked about the pole shift. This stuff is going on and lifting up more and more. And of course, the return of the Messiah. Well, this is presented in different way. This is, of course, one of them is the whole religion part. So we have on one side the whole religion part. In the middle we have this whole new world order, occultish thing. And on the third side we have this whole technology, science, and of course what they will call the digital government. We talk about the Bible. These are the players we will, again, the third temple, the whole Sumerian, Babylonian stuff, the illusion of redemption, or what redemption really could look like, what apocalypse mean, the revelation, the Antichrist, what the Antichrist and who Antichrist could be, the whole artificial intelligence, the singularity, how they call it, to all get one. We have to talk about CERN, a huge point also what will happen there, and what we have exposed about the Great Reset and the whole connections between that. All this stuff is linked together. Of course, these sustainable development goals about the crisis and the earth and the climate crisis, and of course the actual so-called health crisis. We have to talk about the Pope, the Jesuits. We will talk about also Klaus Schwab and this whole technology and how they are all linked together. And we will also talk about Prince William, who could play a key role in this whole scenario. Of course, people will say, yeah, you are connecting too much dots together. This is not linked together. But let's see. Yeah. Of course, we don't have a crystal ball. There is no crystal ball. There is no revelation. This is the whole agenda with this whole prophecy and stuff. This is the agenda they have written where they want to go to. They didn't knew how they will do it, but they had this idea and they had to develop all the tools to get there. And this is why we can look at what they really want and what they have, actually. So this is what we're going to do, but there is no crystal ball. Nobody can see in the future. This is already one point people have to comprehend. There is no revelation. The Bible is agenda and is not something written by anyone who would not be on earth. We can connect the dots. We can have the pieces of puzzle and put them together to really get what, how these whole things are really connected together. So when we look, the whole quest since Pagan is the fear of death. This is what drives all this religion, all the scientists, all the political agenda and so on. They want to kill the dead. So they want to get into immortality. And this is the whole illusion to overcome how life goes. There is no death, as we have explained many times in different videos. There is no beginning and no end. But if you once start to get into the loop, there will be no end either. And so this is what they want to reach, because they have said, no, this is the beginning, this is the end, we want to stop the end. So for that, we have to go in the eternal. And because God is not here, Messiah doesn't come back, so they have to invent their own technique or illusion to think that they have a way to get to immortality. And this is what they propose, eternal life in like a computer game. But what they don't realize that with this supercomputer, you can create a whole digital world, but once you are AI, you have visited, like if you play a game, many people have played a game, so just imagine that in 1 second you have played the whole game with all what you can do in the game. What are you going to do next? Will you play the game again? If in 1 second you have played all the game because the capacity of your intellect is so high. So this is the same. Once you are in this eternal computer program, in 1 minute you have visit all what you can do there. But you will stick there for eternity. This means not eternal life. This is eternal hell. And no way to get out of it. So they bite themselves, and this is not a dream to go there. But in this digital world, you can be whatever you want, man, woman, can be president or whatever, but you have it done in 1 minute, and then you get bored for eternity. So this whole evolution, this whole creation stuff, this comes all back to this. This is what, as a result, what they can propose today of this whole illusion that they maintain since maybe thousands of years. So again, time doesn't exist in itself. So if it's end of time, it would be end of the illusion of time, and we would all come into now. But the way they are twisted all this stuff, it could also mean the end of life, as we know it, as whole. And that's the dangerous part. So if they talk about end of time, is it end or the end of world? The world also is illusion, time is illusion, space is illusion. So if this is the end of the illusion, all right, then we could return back to life. But this is not what they plan. So if we go just a little bit into time, why time is time. The only way to observe time is to observe the sun, the cycles, and also the stars turning around the North Star. The funny thing is that the clock turns in the other way than the stars. This is because they think the time is given by God. So God is above. So he is looking at us. That's why we have to count time in this way, because we look it from under, we look it on the other way. Just this kind of illusion gives already a complete twist into what we could say 1 day or 2 days. We don't need this kind of thing, but it is just to say, even if we just count time, we are always in the reversal. And the master of the universe is the reversal. This is also the thing we have to comprehend why they are so in this satanic bullshit, is because they are in the reversal of things. They want to go back to creation. And because to go back to the creation, they have to reverse everything. So this is one reason of this whole satanic agenda. When we talk about apocalypse, many people think it is catastrophe, it is storm, bombs, war, intergalactic intervention, or any zombie apocalypse, or the 4 horses like written in the Bible. But if we look really what is written there, or what the word itself it means apocalypse is revelation, disclosure, revelation from Greek, uncover, disclose, reveal, from, off, away from, yeah. End of the world story is a part of Revelation, John Patto's book, Apocalypse. So the whole idea that it is like, yeah, if it's the end of the world, it would mean the end of the illusion. And this is maybe what the ones who write this stuff meant. And in the end, it get twisted that it have to be like in a different thing. So this is already, it doesn't mean catastrophe. It means the revelation in itself. But what the revelation is, they have also changed it. So the whole revelation and stuff that the Messiah will come back and so on, this is fully based on interpretation. But for the apocalypse, we also have this Antichrist. So let's look a little bit into what is meant with Antichrist. And you have them also in the Arabic, you have them Al-Masih, Ad-Dajjal, or Kuffar. In the Jewish, you have this tribe of Dan, son of Jacob. And then you have also Vishnu, you have Kalki, you have all the same thing as we have already exposed in the Kabbalah video, that all this stuff is all linked together and goes all back to the same illusion of life. And of course, the devil in itself is the Antichrist. And then we come also back to this whole good and evil stuff, and this is the perfect illusion to provide for people who want have this kind of polarity thinking, this illusion of the duality. So the Antichrist in itself is described or collected in, we just collected this. He is the son of Satan. He is an elderly tyrant and trickster. Past popes have been accused, like the one now too. He is one and many. That's an important part. And he dies in the end. So this the last one is a reason for many religious people to think we need to have this end time plan. This now the apocalypse have to come and so on, because the Antichrist will die at the end. And again, he is one and many. So it's not just one. But let's look into what Christ represents really. Cross, the principal symbol of Christian religion, recalling the crucifixion of Jesus Christ and the redeeming benefit of his passion and death. The cross is third sign of both Christ himself and the faith of Christianity. So it is not the resurrection when he come back. It is the crucifixion itself. This is what Christ represents, the crucifixion. But if, like how they say he is like it is the cross, it is dead. This is what represents Christ. People have to realize this. This is very important. The whole religious space and Christianity is based on this. But in fact, and this is Britannica, it's not some conspiracy. It is the contrary of life. So if the if Christ in itself represents death, then the Antichrist is life and the living. Can you imagine this twist? So in the end, life and the ones who want to live would be there as the Antichrist. And we would more see, and we see it already. I mean, everything what is done actually is against life. Life has become a danger. Dead have become a danger. So the remedy and the whole thing when they want to go out of this is to get above this earthly 3D thing. Yeah? This is in New Age, they talk about this 3D thing. They want to go out of that. But this is away from life. This is how we perceive life today, breed, food, and so on. This is major. And again, if we look into what Christ represents in itself, it is already stolen from ancient, older Babylonian, satanic, pagan rituals. Everything, the whole sun worship, everything is sun worship, and even the fish, if you know what the fish we will go into, but again, this whole thing of Christus, yeah, Ishtus, Christus, God of the sun, is the Son, S-U-N, and here we have it again. Jesus Christ, God, Son, Savior, and this is what represents the fish, the vagina, exactly like in the Freemasonry. This is also what the sexual act represents. So this is all satanic pagan worship. No difference in no religion. Sorry, guys. And this is the whole idea also, like the whole gender. They want to go back to zero, that Eve have to go into Adam again. This is also the whole reversed agenda. That's why they want to make the whole Bible stuff, but that's why also the Freemasons are completely based on the Bible. And this is what the whole satanic agenda is. They want to go back to the creation, and that's why they think they have to reverse everything. And again, this whole Christ stuff is already picked from earlier, and everything is mixed together, from Zoroastrianism to Persian to Mitra is all mixed up, completely mixed up, yeah, and always proposed as an ancient knowledge, and this is how this whole illusion came together. But we have to comprehend that God in itself, every king named himself as a god. He thought himself he was God. And this is how the idea of God even gets into it. So the sun worship, the largest hidden religion in politics, in government, in science, in bank, in healthcare, news, media, network, is everywhere. This is the whole agenda, the whole tools that are created from the system is to worship the sun. And all religions are created to create this kind of division, the languages and so on. This is the Babylonian idea, to divide everyone, to finally split up everyone, to get the babies all alone everywhere in each corner, so they can bring it all together into one world government. But because there will be no Messiah and nothing, they had to put hands themselves. So this whole religion is just the religion, the sun religion, worshipping the moon, the stars, and no matter where, we have all these religions worshipping the universe, yeah, at the end, calling the sun in different representations, the sun god, the moon, and then worship, of course, Moloch, Babylonian, Sumerian. But this is all going back to the sun worship, to the pagan sun worship. Again, representation of Christ, and link it to the whole occult. Again, the symbols. And also all the ones who think they are spiritual. Spiritual comes from spiritism. Yeah, you can't separate spirituality from spiritism. So all the ones who make spirituality, this is the representation of spirit you all up the ass. Yeah, this is how they want to gain all control over all life, of all life energy what people could provide for themselves. So the whole religion are sharing fake news long before social media, and the ones who claim there is proof of God, they always say it's written in the Bible itself. But people can't say that the Bible is written by simple people because they had to learn to read and write before. So the language, written language, is created by the church itself. So they, to say there is proof for God, we can say there is proof for Superman. It makes exactly the same thing. Prayer. And when you pray, don't be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray standing in a synagogue and on the street's corner to be seen by others. Truly I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray for your Father who is unseen. So anyone who comes to pledge their religion, their God, and so on, it's written in your own book. So don't come back anymore to preach your stuff. Go into your room, close the door, and preach to whatever invisible friend you want. And just quickly go into, is the Bible a true story? Despite a feverish searching with scripture on one hand, cutting-edge technology on the other, evidence backing the Bible remains elusive. There are some surprising anomalies. Beauty, biblical evidence both lie in the eyes of the beholder, it seems. No evidence of the events described in the book of Genesis had ever been found. No city wall have been found of Jericho from the appropriate area that would have been toppled by the Joshua or otherwise. The stone palace uncovered the foot of the Temple Mount in Jerusalem could attest that King David had been there, or it might belong to another area entirely, depending who you ask. And this is exactly the thing, because the most claims that this is really the stuff that would be true are always from the believer itself. A leading archaeologist from Old Testament stories are fiction. Abraham, Jacob, Moses, King David, and King Solomon in all splendor never existed. A 15-year study of archaeological evidence has concluded. The study by Professor Thomas Thompson, one of the world's foremost authorities on biblical archaeology, says that the first books of the Old Testament are almost certainly fiction written between 500 and 1500 years after the events they purpose to describe. And this is also another thing. These stories are written down so much later that anyway they could be completely different. So divine, the definition of divine, you can look it up yourself. Soothsayer, sorcerer, astrologer. From French, devin, soothsayer, theologian, and directly from Latin, divinus, soothsayer, augur, non-use as adjective of belonging to a god. Yeah, This is how they put themselves into position of God, and this is all what about God really is. So when you come into the prophetic terms, what they try to say, when it's water, it's people, nations, group of language. If it's talking about the wind, it is war and destruction. Beasts or animals are kings or kingdoms. Horns are king or kingdom. Prostitution is idolatry. Whore is apostate or the church. And the woman also is the church. So all the ones who want to read the Bible, just keep that stuff in mind when you come into the whole apocalypse. So again, we have this whole creature, the four beasts in Daniel 7. What many say that it is the Persian, who also have the lion and the eagle. Then we have the whole Sumerian, Babylonian, sorry. And also you have this eagle that is coming from UK. You also have this whole Medo-Persian, represents the bear, but you also have the Persia, that is also the bear. And then you have this whole the leopard, representing Greece, I think is that also. And we also come also else back to this whole the three lions again is UK. We will come into that. And then of course the ones with the horn, they say it could be Rome, but it could also be completely different because they talk about the little horn, the great horn, and so on. So this whole stuff is trying to explain where we are now, and we also think it could be completely reversed. Let's go back here, just to say that we could be here and go now through these steps until coming to this Babylon, because Babylon, the tower, is not finished yet. But again, we will watch that a little bit further on. Let's go here. And also who could be the little horn of the monster. Because many say the little horn is the Vatican, is the Pope, and we will look into that. He probably will not play the role of the Antichrist in itself. The idea also of the Antichrist is there is a time of Antichrist, and someone will represent the Antichrist. What everyone think this will be the Antichrist, but this also is again kind of distraction to show what will be the real Antichrist. So when we come to the Pope, many still think he is just a religious leader without any significance, or maybe he have a couple of million or a billion people under his rule, but it goes way further. So when the Pope is even promoting the World Economic Forum, artificial intelligence, robotics, and innovations must contribute to the service of humanity, when you invest in environment, in the whole jabbing stuff, the Great Reset, yeah, he's just here and supporting the whole globalist agenda. We have to see that we have to put that also in other videos. For the ones who have seen them, we will repeat it here. He is the only one who have the triple crown today. So even the Queen of England, or no matter who, he is the only one who have the fisher ring to seal stuff like a king. And this, even if he give up, he don't wear it anymore at the moment. But this is what they say, vicar of Christ, father of the king, father of the kings, yeah, governor of the world. Even if the world is illusionary, here, while the people are still in there. So again, this is the whole fish cult of the Babylonian, Assyria fish cult. They have still the same huts. And of course, the whole Catholic Egyptian is all the same pharaoh that are still in charge. And again, the power is not invisible. There is no deep state or something hidden in the whole power structure or even what they are doing. Everything is visible here, and people just get distracted. So again, this crown is the tiara, is the Pope's crown. There are more than 20 actual papal tiaras in existence over a period of about 1,000 years until recently. Each Pope was crowned with a tiara at his coronation. The triple power of the Pope, Father of King, Governor of the world, and Vicar of Christ. But it goes further. Tiara formed three crowns, symbolize the triple power here. Yeah, this we have. And the only one who had a four-layer crown was the King Suleiman, though the Suleiman the Magnificent. And again, all them, they only have the tree. This is the tree, and he have created the Kanun law, and they are here to represent the Canon law. So again, this whole Mitra stuff is all a representation of the power in place. Here it goes further. The Roman Decretalia. The Pope is the head of the Catholic Church, the head directed by the body. This is also, he is the head and the church is the body. And we will see who is the neck. The Roman Decretalia is an authoritative work in the Roman ecclesiastic law. Each pope, when invested with the succession, declares the papal decretals to be true. Decretalia ascribe power to the Pope to change God's law or any other law. Pope can change God's law. So anyone who think God's law comes from God, well, he changed it. So there is no God here, there is a Pope. He can pronounce sentence and judgments in contradiction to the right of nations and to the law of God and man. He can free himself from the commands of the apostles, he being the superior, and from the rules of the Old Testament. So he don't even have to accept this whole scripture, who are all the slaves under are there. So you can read, again, the links are here. The Pope has power to change time, to abrogate laws, and to dispense with all things, even the precept of Christ. The Pope will stand for reason. He can dispense above the law and or wrong make by correction and changing laws. So nobody can charge the Pope of anything. The Pope is free from all law, so that he cannot incur any sentence of irregularity, suspension, excommunication, or penalty, or any crime. That's the Roman Decretalia. In the Papal Ecclesiastic Online, we can read, furthermore, we declare, we proclaim, we define that it is absolutely necessary for salvation that every human creature be subject to the Roman Pontiff. He is the king of all man on earth. As soon as we agree with the system or we use the system, the Pope is above everything. They are putting them in place. It is all visible. And we have said it all the time. So the Pope puts human rights Yeah, he is also for the human rights. That's also before it was the God's law. Now it is about the human rights, and what that human is nothing better than a person, just an ego-driven person who thinks that's under the name of human, he is free. But the human is an accepted man that is within the system. In one of the most anticipated stops of his US tour, Pope Benedict told the UN General Assembly that the right encoded in the UN 1948 Universal Declaration of Human Rights apply to everyone by virtue of the common origin of the person who remains in the high point of God's creative design for the world and for history. So again, the whole human rights and the whole humanist is to put human in front of everything, above everything. They are based on the natural law, and now it comes. We had exposed that already many times. The natural law is coming from the Pope in itself. They made the natural law. They stand above everything. So if people claim natural law, they agree again with the Pope. They are based on the natural law inscribed in human hearts and present a different culture and civilization, he said. Again. So we have the head, the Pope, and the body, the church, and we have the black Pope as in the neck. The Jesuits are the original men in black. And here we can see their salute, here we can see their symbol is present since all the time. And just let's look into what they are really up to. So he just wear the crown, but there are others, of course, behind. The Jesuits are a military organization, not a religious order. Their chief is a general of an army, not the mere father abbot of monastery. And the aim of this organization is power. Power in its most despotic exercise, absolutely power, universal power, power to control the world by the volition of a single man. Jesuitism is the most absolute despotism, at the same time the greatest and most enormous of abuse. Napoleon. So the Jesuits went as missionary everywhere. South America, America, giving people, Indians, clothes with pesticides in it, so they get ill, and so on. So these are the Templars. These are the following. When the Templars get burned on a Friday 13th, they just come up with the Jesuits. So the Jesuit order is a military order and go everywhere, no matter where. And all these orders, are of course, they have all these different orders, and this is a huge organization from the Catholic Church. And they have this pyramid of a cadaver, a corpse. So they have to be like dead. They don't feel anything. They don't think. They just, and they give up. The Jesuits have indoctrination. The one they say you can't. Once you are indoctrinated in this Jesuit stuff, you can't get away from it. So powerful is this. So a subject that many are still don't realize, and that's why a lot of hatred is going on, is the whole invention of the Jew. So there are going a lot of stories back that they are fake Jews, crypto Jews, or I don't know what. But the Jew are invented. And it's not us who say that. This is Shlomo Sand, the invention of the Jewish people. He works in the Tel Aviv University and he didn't get fired. So look into his work. What is really going on there, and even Henry Atlan, goes even further, and he presents his thing in the Institute University Études de Juifs Elie Wiesel. Yeah, so he's not an enemy of the Jew. And he said Jewish religion was invented in 1400. So it is even the third religion and not the first. So again, a lot of stuff is coming out slowly, but truly that people start to comprehend that this whole religious stuff, this whole Abrahamic, all this spirituality, all this voodoo stuff is coming from the same illusion and the same source. And again, with this whole Zorah, that was Zohar, that was in the 13th century, created by Maimonides, call himself Moses, who was a Jewish thinker with a Greek philosophical perspective. Again, very strange. So again, the whole Jewish religion was created on the base of Babylonian Talmud. And this is pagan, satanic Moloch worship, and they turn it in a way that people think this is something that could really come from God, and who God really is, they still didn't find out. So, of course, they took all the texts and they had all the stuff where they had just made the new stuff, but there was not something like one God. Also, like Ariatla, he say, or the presenter of the institute, he say that Jews say there is one God, but they don't believe it. So the Jewish religion is not, it came more out of this whole Christianity to compete with Christianity and to later created Islam. Also all created, of course, by these Jesuits. This is the whole thing. This all the text, all this is pure witchcraft, and they continue to recreate some fantasy stories and mythological stuff over it, and until they brought up the whole idea of the Messiah and the whole idea that there will be a temple and the return of whatever will come. But if you look just into one of these older, how old this really is, or if it's made new, but of course this is something that you can find in many old scripture. Always the same symbolism with the lion, with the goat, with Baphomet, and again Baphomet is the creator of the universe. That's why he is up and down. This is all what they used in this whole satanic worship, and but they can't show it. This is why they have always coded like the name of God. They cannot pronounce the name of God. And also all this stuff is interpretation, because they don't have the original to compare. So they are also the phoenix. So this all this stuff, all this symbolism and so on is coming out of Babylonian pagan worship. The butterfly for MK Ultra. And so you have this. If this one is really an old one or a made one again, we can't say, but you can find this whole symbolism all over, also like in the Mitra and so on. And also we'll see that the star is not David and so on. Okay. So the whole Zionism, the whole invention of the Jew, even the Jewish religion and so on, this is creation of Rome, and the whole hatred that is going on for Jew is the best distraction what they can do. So there are a lot of, like as we already showed, there are way more Kabbalists than Jews. Today, there are so many Kabbalists, they don't even know that they worship Kabbalah and what it really means and where it comes from. So to focus and to discredit and this all hatred, this is exactly how the system is making the thing. So we are not taking part in that. We are not exposing any, or we are not creating any hatred, or everyone gets fooled. The name of the game is deception. And the deception can look like the real thing. That's why we have to get very aware of what's really going on. So this whole Zionism and even the David Star and so on, this is all creation of, even the Kabbalah is created by the Jesuits or Templars or Pharaohs or whatever ones want to call them. And again, the Jesuits never get exposed. They never have bad light on it. And even if you expose them, we always get attacked by others. Yeah. Anytime we exposed the Jesuits, there are always some other freaks coming. Yeah. Attacks are going on all sides. We are used to that. And but of course, they will never come directly. Otherwise, they will just expose themselves too much. And this is what they want to avoid. So again, the Star of David, yeah, it's more the Molech, yeah, and it's even written in their own stuff. We just have to open the eyes. We will not read the Jesuit oath. If you want, we have them in 3 languages on the Telegram. Just search for the Jesuit oath. But read it, so maybe a lot of stuff that is going on, people will maybe comprehend what is really, what they really want and what they are ready to do. But they are ready to do use bullets or whatever torture to come to the end goal. So Indigo, instead of feeling that his remorse was sent to drive him to the foot of the cross, persuaded him himself that in inward reproach proceeded not from God, but from the devil. And he resolved never more to think of his sins, to erase them from his memory, and bury them in eternal oblivion. Luther turned towards Christ. Loyola only felt for himself. Visions came from Arlong to confirm Indigo that the conviction that which he had arrived, Inigo did not seek truth in the Holy Scripture, but imagined that there place immediate communication with the world of spirit. So again, the whole spirituality this is spiritism. They created the whole New Age. Loyola at this time bound himself to the dream on vision and chemistry, a portion of came principles of his life and faith. So again, they just can do whatever they want and just erase it from the memory. This is exactly how they do, so they can serve God as ever they want. And also this whole futurism, Jesuit doctor of theology, Francisco Ribera, theology, born in Spain, who began writing his lengthy commentary in 1585 on the book of Revelation, Apocalypse, titled In and Sacrum Beati, blah, 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 and published it about 1590. So before that, this whole idea of apocalypse and so on, or revelation, it did not exist in itself. This comes also with the Vatican I, Vatican II, Vatican III, and so on. So a little input into Freemasonry. Of course, this is Babylon, Egypt, or whatever. In what way they put it into it, the pharaohs, the Templars, then the whole sorcerer, or we will see who was this real sorcerer, and then until the Illuminati, but they all came from the Jesuits, from here on, all the Jesuits are in charge, and all the astrology, even the Chinese, the Chinese have the astrology not from the Chinese, but from the Jesuits. You can watch it up for yourself. The whole astrology in China was, even if they had some ideas, they perfected on the spot. And of course, until the Pope and the Isis Horus and Set, this is all interlinked. All this is, of course, completely interlinked and just a follow-up. And then we can put the Jesuits, like from here on, in charge of all the black operations that were going on. And also here the Rosicrucian, this also come out of the Jesuit. Again, just a little insight. Christian Rosenkreuz, also spelled Rosenkreuz, Christian Rosencross, is the legendary possible allegory founder of the Rosicrucian Order of the Rosencross. But this is the Rose Cross in different ways. Of course, the whole alchemy comes out of it. This was supposed to be his face. Christian Rosenkreuz is seen to have been Lazarus John in his previous life and beloved disciple from the Christ and had raised from the dead, and who would remain active until the Lord's return. This is the kind of fantasy they create. According to the legend, Christian Rosenkreuz was the doctor who discovered and learned esoteric wisdom on a pilgrim in the Middle East among Turkish, Arab and Persian sages. So again, this is from the whole Zoharism, Sufi or Zoharism, master supposedly in the early 15th. And others believe Rosenkreuz to be the pseudonym for the more famous historical figure, usually Francis Bacon. That's also very interesting. The same Francis Bacon who invented Shakespeare, rewrote the Bible, the New Testament, and also the guidestones are signed by Rosenkreuz. So again, like Shakespeare or Rosenkreuz, this could also be just a symbolic figure and never existed at all. But again, Francis Bacon was a Jesuit also. So whole Freemasonry, as we already said, this is the symbol in itself is already a sexual act. And this is how, on what Freemasonry is based on. Also the evidence of Freemasonry from ancient Hebrew records, that doesn't mean this is Jewish, right? As said before, this whole Jewish idea is more from Middle Age or even later. It is impossible to separate the history and teaching of Masonry from those, the Bible, who principal author Moses devote 12 chapters in the book of Exodus to the construction of the tabernacle, which served King Solomon partly for the plan in building the temple. So this is very important also to comprehend that the whole Freemasonry is linked to the third temple. Masonry is the connecting link between the temple at Jerusalem of the past, what never was proven, and the universal temple of humanity of the future. So this whole Freemasonry is this ancient Babylonian, pagan, satanic cult. The traditions and explanations we hereby offer are based on Hebrew lore, the only reliable source of furnish the correct information, since these words are in part of the craft in the same ancient tongue. That's the whole occult behind Freemasonry. But to comprehend more the Freemasonry, this picture is a perfect illustration of. So they have this Blue Lodge, the first tree one, and most of the Masons, they never go further than that, because already to come into this Blue Lodge, you have to be selected from another brother who is already within. So you don't go into Freemasonry from your own. Of course, you can maybe work up and so on. But it's more like the nobles one who are already chosen to go into that. And they never go further into that, because already in that 3 steps they can make believe that they already come further up. But then you have the Scottish Freemasonry and the York Rites with 9 steps and what they call the 33. So it doesn't mean because you go into Freemasonry that you will come all up on the 33. But now is the trick. Look here in the middle, you can see that the ones who are really on the top are in the center. Yeah? They are not up there. So this is already within the Freemasonry. They give the illusion that you can climb up. And they have even something they call the justice, yeah. They just the fools, yeah, and they will just make silly things. It's the joker of the rulers. And also here you can see here you can go the steps up, yeah, climb a little bit higher. But here there is no step. You can't reach the middle circle, the inner circle, by going through a step. So they are already selected and chosen ones. So this is the whole trick, that you have like a kind of hierarchy outside, like always what they say with the pyramids, that from one side you can't see the 3 other sides. And this is how it is built, but it is within and selected, and then the other ones you can give them different degrees, but the whole thing is based on this whole idea of the Templars. But Freemasonry is in nursery, in school, in universities, can be bosses, is 1, 2, 3 ABC, to all symbols, 1, 2, 3 mathematic, all what you need, geometry, and the whole, the symbols, and they are firefighters, policemen, they are judges, and so they are like given to believe to be like in an inner circle where they have some kind of privilege, and they have privilege, but mostly they have to sacrifice. So they have to bring more sacrifice, because this is how the pyramid works. And more you go up, more you are ready to do, more you have to sacrifice. So you have a lot of famous who are like in this Freemasonry, and even the humanists, the humanitarian stuff, the kings, the whole idea of H plus, so that means the transhumanism, the singularity. This is all coming from Freemasonry. Even the whole evolution and transhumanism, of course, and the whole future that is prepared is fully in this humanism. Yeah, that is what Freemasonry is all about, is to put the human in the center of everything, to walk and decide to play God. So the whole revelation, the whole redemption, the whole paradise idea, we can find that in what we call it now the Great Reset. We can see it is in this technology. We can see it in the religion. In all religions, they have all the same goal of going into paradise. To finally have the relief to not die anymore for this eternal. You have all the religions, as said. The whole stock market is also on this edge of redemption. The whole global politics, and of course technology. This is where the New World Order is heading. But if we look at, as we already said before, it is the quest to eternity. And if you look at it from a religious eternal life, So if you look at it from a religious perspective, no matter what, to reach paradise, they need to go to a unity, in a oneness, and they have to, if they want to see the light, they have to go through darkness. And this is the whole thing. So they have to go through darkness to see the light, to come unity in paradise and live forever. If we look at it from a scientific transhumanism side, they also want the eternal life. They want a paradise where they just can take any shape, any form. That's why they have to unite all science, everyone together in these global goals. Return to the golden age. We will go into that too. And for that, this is also going to darkness, to go into light, to find unity, to have a paradise for eternal life, or eternal paradise. And if you look at it from a occult point of view, there's also, you have to go to darkness to see the light, to come into this unity through human rights and be human, and to get another social status, to get into this unity, and to come into one government, one world order, and so on. So we have, in all this perspective, we have the exact same ritual, the same patterns, just proposed differently, but we have exactly the same in science, occult, and religion. So the whole eternity is what the whole Babylon system is about. It is to the stairway to heaven, to how to build a tower to go into heaven without dying. And this is what they are doing. And that's why life in itself becomes a danger. Again, we are fully in the Antichrist, the proof that life in itself with the dead is something that people have to fear. And that's why we have to get rid of dead. And this is exactly what it is, to stop the life, to get in eternal illusion. And this is also where all three biggest religion heading on, they have to go through this third temple. And for that they are ready to sacrifice life. So the third temple should be in this Mount of the Rock. In Jerusalem, here we have the Western Wailing Wall. They had even to make a secure bridge for the Muslims to go from this side to go to the Al-Aqsa Mosque. And a lot of people think this is the Al-Aqsa Mosque, but the mosque is here. Okay? This is the Dome of the Rock. So this is the Al-Aqsa Mosque. And here we can see the dome. Inside this dome is supposed to be the stone where Abraham prepared to sacrifice his son Ismail. And this is what the Muslim appropriate now, and so the whole idea is to build third temple on this place, and for that, a lot of Muslims, they fear that they have to take down this Dome of the Rock. But again, this is just another cut of the building itself. They recreated like 11 times, so it doesn't have any kind of visibility like that before. What we just inject is also what this tower looks like from another perspective. It looks very much also like a lot of other buildings, like a computer and another computer like an electric tool. And we come back to this. So the whole idea of this building, why it is so important for the Muslim, is because Muhammad was supposed to fly from Mecca to Jerusalem to visit this Dome of the Rock. The whole problem is that Mecca didn't exist in the time where they claim Muhammad did this travel. So Mecca at all did not exist on the maps. It's just absent. Mecca is absent. So this is already something that shows that this whole story and even questioning of Muhammad is very important. Questioning the whole religion is important. So for the end of the world, Jerusalem third temple fulfills biblical prophecy of the end times. So this whole third temple in Jerusalem have a lot to do with this end time prophecy and redemption and so on, where the people want to go to eternal life, to have this liberation and so on. So this is, we have to look very much closer what they really want to propose with him. Jerusalem history, the first and second temple, they didn't find anything, just some stones and interpretations of written stuff. Yeah, where the Jewish temple on the Temple Mount, and again, this is just the Israelis who say that themselves, like we have seen before. It depends who you ask. Was King Solomon's temple a real place? Many archaeologists have hunted for evidence for the support to refute the ancient biblical stories about Israel, but the first temple in Jerusalem and its builder, King Solomon, remains shrouded in mystery. What evidence is there that the Temple of Solomon even existed? The only evidence is in the Bible itself, as they claim. The proof of God can find in, and here you have the link. King Solomon is Sultan Suleiman. In the Quran, King Solomon is considered a major prophet of Muslim, referred to him by the Arabic variant of the name Suleiman, son of David. The Quran alleges that Solomon has power over the wings and he rode on his throne throughout the world during days. The wind brought it back to Jerusalem every night. It is maintained that he had the ability to speak to animals and control the jinn, the genies. Powerful, invisible creature made of fire that possess both body and soul. The Jews refer him as King Solomon, not only because of his name, because of his wisdom, his considerable wealth, and his legislative activities. Again, Suleiman invented with the 4 crown. Not forget that. So the whole third temple is also part of the illusion and the interpretation of the King Suleiman, the Sultan Suleiman. But because also that is also a fact in this time, all the kings, they call themselves Sultan or King or Solomon. Sol, Son, On, and On is all the word for the sun. So again, King Solomon never existed, but they picked up the story of Suleiman. So the end time prophecy, why it is the third temple so important? The Hebrew prophets all proclaimed that in the last days the exile of Israel would return to the promised land and that the temple would be rebuilt. Then the nations will know that I, the Lord, make Israel holy when the sanctuary is amongst them forever. Lord and God. Yeah, why there are different names all the time. So, do Israeli Jews really seek to demolish the Al-Aqsa Mosque? So this is what the Muslims are afraid for, because this is huge. The temple, they already have the plan and all these different stuffs. Others say they could be side by side. Whatever, this temple is, of course, long time prepared. They prepared these priests to make this ritual sacrifice. They repeat that every year. Yeah, it's like they're repeating every year to be ready on. It would be on Easter, and they had even to create their heifer, their red heifer. That without the red heifer is the one who have to be sacrificed, and then they can initiate. And when these rituals start, they would be able to build this third temple. And now with the new prime minister also, they think that it's just a question of law, that they are allowed to go to the Temple Mount and to start rebuild the third temple. And again, will the building of the third temple destroy the Jewish state? Because they need a world war, yeah? The sixth trumpet war, the Bible says the sixth trumpet war, also known as the World War III, is the war which occurred during the end times. The entire world is at war right now. Many believe we have to involve third war since September 11, 2011. We are living in the end time. We are raptured generations. The war following the sixth trumpet war will be the nuclear war that will end with all wars, the battle of Armageddon. So we also have seen this monster in the papal thing. We forgot that, put that here, but we have seen that in other videos. And this is the nuclear war they want to put there. So they talk about nuclear bombs, of course not the nuclear, but they will nuke some stuff maybe to come there. And so everyone is looking for world peace, and what they think that you have to happen, all this bullshit, this war and so have to happen. We have to create a third temple. We need like this plague, what they call it now, this crisis. We need all that to rebuild the third temple. And this reminds a lot of what the Chabad Lubavitch Rebbe was saying, that the most important thing is that everyone, if they are Jewish or not, they have to participate in a ritual every day. So this whole QAnon stuff, where it's written in big, or the one we say we are one, and so on, in capital letters, they are all participate in this kind of little rituals all the time, and this all's leading to this third temple. So they have even the coins, they have all the relics they want to put in the third temple. There will be a sacrifice in the third temple, and this is very important too. Every time there is ritual sacrifice of animals, it is pagan. No matter what. They can say what they want. Any religion who is slaughtering animals for the rituals, it is pagan. So, as the pagan in its time were doing, this is, adapted pagan story. Thank you for raising the important issue. This is a common misconception, but it's not true. The Torah states many times that these commandments are eternally binding. See, for example, as well as Leviticus in the relation to the end of the sacrifice, to one of the sacrifice. So again, all this sacrifice and this third temple are also only in the Israeli Talmud. They are not in the Babylonian Talmud about this whole rituals, how the rituals in the third temple have to be done. So again, this stuff is written way later, mostly as we have seen Muhammad or then 15 or 17, even later. This too, however, is problematic as Rabbi writes explicitly elsewhere that the third temple will include animal sacrifice. This too clear that his comment on Malachi in referring to a much later time, perhaps after the resurrection, when even animal life will become intelligent. This means if also animal become intelligent, it means human are also intelligent if they're going to continue the sacrifice. Well, could this mean that they also sacrifice humans? Will Israel be destroyed? So even Israelis should listen to that. What is really going on here? Yeah, for building that whole stuff and to have this revelation and release and all stuff, they will destroy, they will nuke Israel. So people have to always question if there is a wall, if it's to maintain people inside or if it's to protect that people from outside don't coming in. Always, if there is a wall, think on what side you really are. And this is how solid these rabbis are, to interrupt even prime minister to tell him to build third temple. And Netanyahu was completely in this Shabbat Lubavitch sect. Yeah, this is a sect, religious sect. This is not have nothing to do with Judaism. This is really a prophetic sect with the guru and so on. And he was submitting and say, yeah, we will build the third temple. And the new prime minister also now, the only place in the Middle East that exercise full religious right for all religions, Christianity, Muslim and Jew, is Israel. The Temple Mount is the holiest place on earth for Jew. No one should tell us how to govern the Temple Mount. This is Natalie Bennett. So the message is quite clear. The prime minister is in place to put and start this whole thing. The Third World War must become fomented by taking advantage of the difference causes by the agentur of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leaders of Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic, and the political Zionism, the state of Israel, mutually destroy each other. So again, this is exactly what Freemasons do. They all, Jesuits do, always pushing both sides, financing both. Yeah, so in war, if you want to win, you have always just to finance both. And another detail, just to say that the first document to contain word Israel outside of the Bible is here, in this hieroglyph. So again, it's written in ancient Egypt hieroglyphs, so no one is 100% sure. This is how on how little this kind of fantasy stories are based on, but finally what they are making with is very dangerous. So the whole illusion of the temple, these are not temples. Temple, in the first word, building for worship, edifice dedicated to the service of a deity or deities. piece of ground consecrated of the taking of Auschwitz, building for worship of God. An uncertain signification. But if you look closer, temple is the flattened area on either side of the forehead. This is the temple. Inside, another building, side of the forehead. Yeah. Side of the forehead, the thin stretch of skin on the side of the forehead. And this is the third eye. So this is not a temple. What is a temple? English Inns of Court, because anciently the dwelling place of the Knight Templar and the suppression of the order, they were purchased by some professors of the common law to convert into hospitia in its of court, because situated without temple bar. Okay, so the temple is about the Templars, where they start to make this court of justice. And again, it's even written in their own books, as for what you see here, the time will come when not one stone will be left on another. Every one of them will be thrown down. This is in the only holy book. Yeah? Or another one. Jesus answered them, destroy this temple, and 3 days later I will raise up. But he was speaking about the temple of his body. So it's not two different temples. The only temple where these people was talking about was the temple. The temple was the body. It was never a building. But this is a shrine, Ark of Covenant, chest, coffer, case for relics, case or box for keeping papers, of unknown origin, from later as Tomb of Saint. Here you have it. This is a shrine. This is a shrine. Yeah, and this is where they put their relics inside. A shrine is a sacred or holy seat dedicated to a specific deity, ancestors, hero, martyr, saint, demon, or familiar figure of respect wherein they are venerated or worshipped. Shrines often contain idols, relics, or other such objects associated with the figure being venerated. So already this whole story of any temple is bullshit. Not even in their own stuff. And this is like how they do idolatry, but claim to practice religious stuff. So, as already said, the New World Order will not be a government led by people. It will be 100% digital, 100% virtual. So the real government, already now, when we call something, we have some computers, we have to answer some messages. Is even in some countries, even rare that you get the real person on the phone. Everything happens per email, virtual, you can go to the website and so on. This is coming more and more, but finally there will be nobody behind. This is where this whole shit is heading. We already have this home office, so this homeschooling where they have to stay at home. We have this digital card money. The automatic car will just come. The whole face recognition is already there. some people talk about this Nesara, Gesara, the universal income, or this stuff, or this digital money, what is already happening with bitcoins and so on. But this is not where it's heading. It's heading to social credit. It's heading to digital citizenship. This is where you need to get this digital idea to even participate in any form in this digital government. And you have your social credit, and you will just talk to artificial intelligence. So the artificial intelligence goes into everywhere. They have already smart agriculture, how they call it, where everything is monitored, censored. They of course, the whole gene process, what they try to select, and what we had talked about many times. Every cow people get chipped, so they know everything about what is happening. Artificial intelligence in construction, so even building houses, restaurants, and of course the police will be digital. Healthcare is digital. The whole stock market is already digital. People don't even know what is really happening behind. There is no real money anymore. And as we exposed already, Aladdin of the Black Rock probably made this whole scenario up, or even until the Great Reset. They just ask maybe Aladdin what kind of solution, because Aladdin have stocked all history since hundreds of years inside, so he may come up with a kind of solution how to bring back or to save maybe the economy for a year or two. And of course, all these digital relations already, because they can't, like in China, there's no women no more, because on the land they need because they had only one child, so they aborted, so they even killed the girls, so they only have men, so they don't find even a woman, and now they have even a digital girlfriend, and so on. The digital stores, you go into stores, they know already exactly who you are, what you want, and so on. Little dog barking still. He is not digital. A new era of continued health monitoring and clinical intelligence, like badges put on the skin, and they know exactly how healthy you are. And of course, coming more and more into also like the bio transforming soldiers into super robots, and the politics, of course, AI, and so on. So even this, not only super intelligence, but they want to go to super intelligence. This is what they are heading on. That is not even intelligence, but is super intelligence, yeah, to make like the human, to update the humans. But again, a super intelligence, the first thing they would do is to eliminate the one who could turn off the machine. And this is exactly what all this stuff is heading on, that the first thing that supercomputer would do is to take away whole human life, yeah. And so this is going into this digital environment. For this to happen, they have to control everything, the whole environment, and this is what they're using with LIDAR. LIDAR is like light radar, so they're sending out light and reflect, and so they can make the whole map, as we are already shown in different videos, in real time now, even with just a simple app. They can take objects, and they have the three-dimensional thing, and they need that to monitor the whole Earth or life on Earth, even recognize different objects, if it's the dog, if it's the cat, to make this whole landscape, virtual landscape in houses, inside, outside, or even plants communicating between. Yeah, we will see that later. But this is like with one single cam, with this Helios 2, you have just a three-dimensional picture or map of the objects. So implanting that into a robot or into a drone, and he just can fly around and see the objects and differentiate the objects. Of course, with a simple smartphone, you can walk around. Even it's not a special one, just a simple cam. You walk around your house. You take everything in this map with geo, and then you can walk around with the whole thing. And this is what is already there available. So of course, making a whole virtual map of real time what is going on, like every fly who flies by will be in this virtual grid, matrix grid, however they want to call it. Even fly through tunnels and so on to map everything, just with a signal, with a drone, fly over a whole stadium and even take the whole map in virtual in just 1 hour, and then it's done. So also the cyborg botany, this is a new thing where they want to start using plants as detector for, of course, they say explosive or something like that, but even that the spinach will send emails. That also means no matter where we will go into nature and so on, everything will be surveyed in a real-time matrix where everything what is not moving correctly after the artificial intelligence will be detected. So even plants who can be programmed to sensing in one direction or bidirectional display. Smart dust, they even can't see it, but they even have a camera on it to film everything. And with this whole 5G, of course, everything is connected, this whole thousands of smart dust touching the plant, and the plant closes itself, so reprogramming plants or even touch sensing and so on. So they have no limit to go to make a real-time map. And of course the new brain-computer interface, transforming thoughts into image, or the Neuralink that they implant something into the monkey to make him move on the computer. Field-based bioquark wants a shot of bringing the dead back to life. So this is the whole scientific stuff where they want eternal life. So how many IoT devices are in 2021? All you need to know. And ITO is Internet of Things, means that every object, anything, even a light or a pen or anything is connected to internet. So what they say is the number of connected devices in 2021 will be 45 billions. With 1 billion projected subscription by 2023, IT about experience another boost by 5G technology. Google Home will have the largest IoT devices market share. Yeah, and these are the same who want that eternal life in a computer program. Solar power, a smart dust. Yeah, so it can be charged by solar power, can take picture, can sensor, can analyze, can do whatever. And from these tools we have billions. Yeah, so if we have like some metals on the car, we maybe have to question if this is not already part of it. No power Wi-Fi connectivity could fuel Internet of Things reality. It means that even our Wi-Fi, without having solar panels on it, they can already charge these whole billions of little robots that will fly around in the whole environment. 6G will bring digital twin, and this is exactly what we are saying about this hologram and this virtual idea. Samsung said it is 2 years ahead of schedule. Samsung has revealed its plans for 6G technology, outlining a vision of digital twin of physical self. Yeah, so you can have your digital twin working on one place, and you are home connected to the computer. Digital clone for engineering, of course, this is something they do since a while to make this when they have projects that they are using models. Yeah, this of course is quite common. And now we are coming to this CAE, dynamic synthetic environment. So of course the military, they already have a full map of everything what is going on Earth in real time. So we can ask our question, if we move a hand, if this is already into this whole matrix stuff. So they talk about the digital twin and how the whole connectivity that the military is working on. And here we have this simulated reality. Simulated reality is the hypothesis that reality could be simulated, for example, by quantum computer simulation to a degree indistinguishable for true reality. It would contain conscious mind that may or may not know that they live inside a simulation. This is already what a lot of people think, that we are already in the simulation, that we don't know it. No, this is still, we are not there, but people are so disconnected even that they can't make the difference between fiction and reality right now. So in the future, that will be just, they will just slip through this whole bullshit. This is quite different from the current technologically achievable concept of virtual reality, which is easily distinguishable from experience of actually simulated reality. So again, what will come will be way more sophisticated. So they call this synthetic environment for analysis and simulation. Purdue University Synthetic Environment for Analysis and Simulation or CAS is currently being used by the Homeland Security and the US Defense Department to simulate crises in the US mainland. It is now capable of running real-time simulation for up to 72 nations, including Iraq, Afghanistan, and China. Synthetic training environment, what they call. So they have already the map, they have already the situation, they have all this real-time information straight up in this synthetic environment where they can intervene. And this looks like when they are in this simulation. So now we have this they have this whole terrain, they know exactly where to go, where to fly, and the computer will already tell them how they have to intervene and so on. Look it up, the synthetic environment is huge. And of course, this is what they want to build, like this Second Life. If people knew this game a while back, this is the kind of thing they are promoting now. They have to have this kind of virtual reality in plain sight. Another tool they have already in place right now is Palantir. Empowers the intelligence agency to securely derive actionable insights from sensitive data and achieve their most challenging operational objective. Palantir was founded in 2004 with a mission to help intelligence agency to better, again the doggy, with help intelligence agency make use of their data securely and responsibility. Of course. Today, governments around the world use Palantir Gotham, Palantir Foundry, and understand the defense against involving threats to national security, from cyber attacks to disinformation to insurgeries. So to more comprehend this tool, they just have to select a part of a city, and they have all the information, all the connectivity. If there are someone is there, all the emails, all the information, and all the connections these houses have together, and all intels, they have everything. And they have already, this is already in place in America and in Switzerland, of course, also. So they can see, even they can monitor in real time this kind of area, if there is crime, if there is alert or something, and everything is connected. The whole social network, the whole bank, they have information, they collect everything from all these information companies, because information today is gold. And Palantir is valuable, the 15 billion in stock market debut. Yeah, in the beginning they get on stock market 15 billion. So this is one of the huge companies. Palantir Technology is coming to Greater Zurich area in Switzerland. Data center, artificial intelligence, and so on. So this is the pre-crime, like what we already saw in this minority report, yeah, where they think they can even prevent crimes in advance. And pre-crime definitely exists, yeah, precrime.eu, where they really try to prevent. This stuff is already there, yeah. Switzerland, again. And yeah, Europe is fully in it. The first detailed look at how Elon Musk's space internet could work. And that's also a point that people have to realize, that no matter where we go, it will be surveyed by planes, by satellites, what they call satellites, but we will see that they are not satellites, they are balloons. Balloons and drones. So we have here almost orbital solar-powered drone offered as atmospheric satellites. This was already 2013. Google satellite could soon see your face from space. 5G using drones to beam signal from the stratosphere. Again, this was 2020. So if they have satellites, why they would use drones, right? There are no satellites. And balloons. Surveillance balloons are lurking on the edge of space. Yeah. So this sustainable development goals is one part of this whole climate crisis. We are already exposed that CO2 is the base for plants to grow. It's not a poison, and it's heavier than air. So it could not go up and create any climate change. It stays down. It have to stay down to that the grass get green. This is what CO2 is. But of course, this joins this whole agenda, what we have exposed as the Great Reset, this website, everything, it tells everything. Everything is in the open. And now they even start to collect, the CO2 to take out CO2. It means they take away the chance for life to live, the plants to grow. And they even make graphene or whatever they're going to do with it, but this is what they are doing. They take away life to live. Everyone would say, but this is crazy. Why would they do something like that? They are buying land to to mine raw material. Yeah, this is what they're doing. There are people claiming, oh, it's so nice that so millionaires are preserving. No, forget that. They are making that to close up, to close the territory so nobody can go there. They can throw everyone out. They can pump all the water for Nestle, and they can take all the resources to build their huge fantasy idea of the new world. And this is how it looks like more and more everywhere, and life just disappear more and more. So we have to start to think, where is this really heading? Yeah, they're taking life as Antichrist. They're destroying life completely. They want now to poison the people even with injection. So where is this heading? Well, we really have to think that dead, it would look like this. Like what they call in the Matrix. And for what is human still used for? Well, as they already claim that human could be used as a data transistor to make the whole this data thing. Yeah. They could provide the energy, as we already said in a lot of that we are providing the energy, and that is sacrificed in the systems. So, well, this really looks more and more like what they had all the time in Matrix, and people would, yeah, this is funny, and this conspiracy, and blah, 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 yeah, nothing to see. Well, let's look into it. This kind of incubator does not exist at the moment, but they already does it with the sheep. Yeah.
The Netherlands have been given a €3 million grant to develop an artificial womb within the next decade. But patents have existed since the 1950s for artificial wombs. In fact, if you go on Google and look up artificial uterus, you can find the patent by Emanuel M. Greenberg. An artificial uterus patented in 1955. Described as a container for a fetus, a second container for a placenta, adjacent thereto, and oxygenating means for purifying blood. This is pretty strange, guys. Look it up for yourself on Google. Artificial uterus.
It will, of course, come. And also drones that have machine or guns on it. This also already exists. And people who transforming themselves in Mr. Smith, you have find also everywhere.
These are the employees at Ace Hardware in fucking Seattle. What a fucking punk bitch.
What is missing is this. The machine. And how this works, we will look now into it. So CERN, there is a lot of mysteries, fantasies, and stories about what CERN is, what it does. And, well, if we look closer into it, for those who don't really know, this is what they want to build. A huge circle of 100 kilometers. And here, this is what they have right now, the LHC. This is 27 kilometers, is going a little bit to France and come back to Switzerland. A huge circle with huge technology. So it's a large Hadron Collider, how they say, is the largest machine in the world ever built. Okay? It is a storage ring. A storage ring, like a beamline, like they want to put particles in this beamline and smash them together and measure or take the energy from this is what they claim. So they have here the accelerators, and then different accelerators where they push them, and then in the opposite direction, and boom, they store together, look it up, and so on. But it's called storage ring. So it sounds like it would store something in it. And they developed already different stuff like that in different places. And what we found is this. And this looks very much like a storage ring, right? But this is the home of Aladdin. And this is the first script or the first design of Aladdin. We have no idea if this goes together or not, because you can't find who created Aladdin by BlackRock. And if you look it up, the Aladdin BlackRock, they are explaining they have stored 300 years of history into it, and he's calculating and propose solutions for the stock market. This is the hugest company today. They own everything, from Twitter to Google to they don't own maybe, but they have share markets on it. So it is one of the biggest company today, because they have this supercomputer, what they call Aladdin. And this was very strange when we found this, to link it with CERN. We will see how this is going. Because if we even take the Aladdin story with it, so you have the Aladdin's ring, damage to any target. After these words, the magician drew the ring of his finger and put it on Aladdin, saying, "It's talisman against all evil, so long as you obey me." Now, this is a kind of strange with the Arabic night, Why Arabic night? How this coming into this CERN, and why we are talking about a huge machine when now we're talking about Aladdin. But maybe things will start to make sense, because this looks very much like what they call it from the Golden Age, if you look the form of that. If you go further into, you will find all relations with the story of Aladdin. This 1,001 nights. So again, in this mythologic thing of Aladdin, there is something else, because you can find the golden age for neutrinos, 20 years since discovery neutrinos, a complete understanding with our grasp. You know how this thing is called? The Dune. The Dune experiment. We go further. This is all about Aladdin. Further on, Jasmine, his girl, climate and earth system science data analysis with OpenStack. This is CERN. CERN congratulates CSAM pioneers. You will find all Alibaba. You will find all the different stuff with OpenSesame, sharing experience to unlock the power of synchrotron light. This is OpenSesame. OpenSesame. Transistor stability analysis of the secret by experiment in Sultan. So again, you can look up this self from yourself. Legends from Europe to China often contain characters like Aladdin, ordinary people who came into possession of magical devices and through them acquired a wealth and power. Aladdin's magical tool were a ring and a lamp that controlled the supernatural beings known as genies. From magic carpet to prayer rocks, King Solomon, 101 Night Arabian Nights, and Disney Aladdin. So again, King Solomon and all this stuff again is also into it. And let's look into this King Solomon. This is a kind of plan of the King Solomon's temple. And here we have a quantum computer. Doesn't look this quite similar? What are these buildings really? We don't make any fast conclusions here, but we just have observed, and we will go deeper into the whole subject about this, what they call the free electricity. This is another subject. But back to phenomenal cosmic power in the context of the original Aladdin dialogue suggested that the genie was the most powerful being in the universe. The genie became one of the most iconic and influential characters in the history of animated films. Yeah, guys, we are still talking about CERN, and you will soon see why we are linking these things together. So the master of the universe, again, yeah, this is the master of the universe is Baphomet in itself. So just let's be clear about that. In the Aladdin second movie, Hollywood, I think it's the Aladdin second, the history changed. They are not using the ring anymore. They don't talk about the ring. You just have to screw the lamp and the genie is coming out. But in the second one, at the end, the genie gets free, and it is the evil that is going into the lamp. Okay? So we have, again, this whole occult stuff with the lamp, and we have this evil guy who wants to become the genie, and he goes into the lamp. So this is what they are doing, guys. They want to master the universe, to bring in the whole, they create a black hole, we will see later, yeah. So the whole idea is to, and the genie become free. This is also in the story of the thing. So everything will be happy and good, and the genie, the good one, will be released, and the bad one are in the trapped in the lamp. So if you can watch the Aladdin movie, it becomes quite obvious, yeah, that what they are doing. Will CERN generate a black hole? Mini black hole could reveal hidden dimension of space. Physicians may soon be factoring a copy quantity of a black holes when the Large Hadron Collider at CERN, a European particles physics laboratory in Geneva, is completed in 2005. So the LHC will not generate a black hole. Everything is okay in the cosmological sense. However, and now it comes, the theory suggests that the formation of a tiny quantum black hole may be possible. The observation of such event would be thrilling in terms of understanding of the universe, and it would be perfectly safe, of course. Recreating Big Bang matters on Earth, again, CERN, the 666. So the idea to bring the whole evil into this bottle and to be freed from all sin and burden and to live for eternity in a paradise, synthetic paradise. So if you look at this engine again, it looks like very much as we have seen with the third temple also. And also LHC creates matter from light. as we already said in many videos, that nothing comes from nothing. They really think that they can create things out of simple light. Another evidence is that the worldwide LHC computing grid. The worldwide LHC computing grid, VLCG project, is a global collaboration of around 170 computing centers in more than 40 countries. This project to provide global computing resources to store, distribute, and analyze the 50 to 70 petabytes. No idea how much this is. Data expected every year of operating from the Large Hadron Collider on the Franco-Swiss border. From the Large Hadron Collider. So, again. And here you can see at the moment it's not really working, so it's not really huge. But Internet was created in CERN. Yeah, many people don't know that, but the first server was put, and the code was also created not by a Swiss, but by an English guy, but who was working in CERN. But still today, there's like nudes. Yeah, you have like nuts, and then they distribute. And the 0 point is CERN. CERN is the 0 point, and then you have different data centers all around the world, where the first or the second, but the 0 stays in CERN, and it always was like that since Internet existing. So the whole data center is the heart of CERN's entire scientific, administrative, and computing infrastructure, all serves including email, scientific data, and so on. The 230,000 processor core, yeah, and the service 24/7. It's a huge data center, and it's data center linked all over the world. So what is CERN really doing? And we have to ask the question again. The storage ring of a computer, of a quantum computer, is exactly working the same way. On another side, what temperature requires inside the LHC? All of the magnets on the LHC, magnets, are electromagnets, magnets which the magnetic field is produced by flow of electric current. The LHC main magnet operates temperature from minus 271 Celsius, colder than out of space, what they say. Now let's look into a quantum computer. And here the quantum computer, minus 460 degrees Fahrenheit, what is exactly 273 Celsius. So we are in the same cold. And further on, CERN scientists may have set a new man-made heat record on trillion degrees Fahrenheit. Quantum computer chip demonstrate at the highest temperature ever. The system of only function at extremely low temperature below 273 degrees Fahrenheit. To be qubit have to be stored in powerful refrigerators. The quantum states are probed through the nuclear magnetic resonance, allowing the system to be implemented as variation of nuclear magnetic blah 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 blah. So you can see with the cold and the heat is already the same in CERN and in quantum computers. quantum computers have to be really stable, so they fix it on the roof in atmospheric complete stable environment. It don't have to move and so on. Yeah, CERN is the same. It's in one of the solidest ground, and it can't move. By the way, a friend of us found some seismic installations above the ground here around the Lake of Geneva. It may be that they are measuring even if it's if the earthquake is happening and so on. So they have other like these beams, and they start to have different, but this one is the biggest one, and they want to construct even 100 kilometer one. So new supercomputing material discovered that could power quantum computers in the future. CERN meets quantum technology. That is very funny, that the technology center, the main center of technology in the world, doesn't have a quantum computer. Many others, they make this little quantum computer, but not CERN, and they start to get interested in September 2020 in quantum computer. That's very strange. So, the countdown to CERN's quantum upgrade for 26. That's also a date that fits quite into the whole agenda what we already was talking about. So, up 21 to compare and to think about if CERN is not just a huge quantum computer. And for what? Well, will CERN be the digital president, the quantum president of the digital government? We let people investigate and look what is really coming, but it would very much fit to the whole stuff to put the evil genie into the bottle and use this energy to feed this whole digital government to come, create a black hole and use this energy, and so on. Some more stuff using Osiris also, Osiris in CERN. They have molecular 3D printers. This is also what they now start to make molecular stuff, but also a huge AI-driven molecular 3D print on the way. Tesla to make molecular printers for German COVID. Yeah. But now the 3D printers start to be huge, and just we let all fantasy move that if AI is really in control of everything, they will also construct and so on. So everything is going into that digital world where they will be building everything. If you didn't have seen Transcendence, this is where they are heading, and not even hiding it. Another little detail about one of the first zone, North Zone, it's called the Ark of Noah. That's about CERN. So they put the genie into the bottle and be the president of this digital government. At least it is the largest machine ever built, and they want to even create a 3 times bigger one. Again, if there would be a digital government, there would be there's a huge machine needed to maintain this whole artificial intelligence. So this all about this digital government, and And again, this is the whole singularity. We went from trinity to duality into this singularity where there is no more woman, man, or anything like that. And this again goes back to the whole Bible story, Eve, and the whole basic of creation and all the reversal, what they want to do. And that's why they need this technology to do it, because God is not there, the Messiah will not come, the return of Christ will not happen. That's why they have to create it themselves. And of course we have all this World Economic Forum that took a lot of importance in the last time. A lot of people realize that what is going on here have something to do completely different than with what it is proposed. And again, he is a son of who grew up in the Nazi regime. Maybe he is just want to create the Fourth Reich, at least when you talk about the Fourth Industrial Revolution, a lot of things are coming together that people maybe can realize how evil this scumbag is. No, Klaus Schwab is not from Rothschild. We get it wrong too, but this was not his parents for the ones who went into that. But this is, of course, part of this whole messianic idea of eternal life. And it's just he represents the side, like the Pope is presenting the religious side, but they are all in the same occult club. And, of course, the Great Reset is there to destroy the whole revolution, not the revolution, the resistance, and more we can see how everything comes more into place also with this Great Reset, sustainable goals, the kind of apocalypse, the exercise of cyber pandemic. We saw it maybe because they get exposed quite a lot. They didn't make like the huge thing for now. Because this whole agenda is working in a way they can adapt. And if people are reacting too much or they get too much exposed, so they will also go a little bit back. But of course, this whole crisis comes all together. So let's come to the Antichrist. And in the Antichrist, there, like we said, there can be one and can be many. But the whole story of this Antichrist have to be happen from a last king. So why Prince William? There are many reasons why Prince William could play the Antichrist and become the king of Jerusalem or the king of the world. Majority of British people want Prince William to be king before Prince Charles. That's quite evident because Prince Charles really don't have any character and was probably made like this. Prince William to become king sooner than Prince Charles. Well, they are just tabloids. We know the tabloids of the English tabloids, but still there are some hints. Royal experts reveal how Kate Middleton is preparing to be queen. And this story about why he have his face of Jesus is already quite a long time around. And also this whole fantasy story about the King Arthur, who again, like King Solomon and so on, probably never existed, also have to come. All the mythologic, all that stories and so on have to come together to make people happy and to convince them. This royal expert thinks Prince William's son will never be king, so he will be the last king. That's quite interesting too. Prince William will be England's last monarch, with the Queen staying on the throne until she dies. The British royal family circumcision tradition, genesis and evolution of the complementary legend. So, circumcised queens? That's usually something more done in another region. Prince William speak for reconciliation. What? Okay. And again, return of one and future king. Yeah, the revelation of the Antichrist. Could the royal baby be a real Jewish prince? That is again in Shabbat Neapel's Jewish Community Center. Could the royal baby be a real Jewish prince? It's possible. Again. King Solomon, Queen Diana, the royal baby name game begin. That was in 2012 for the baby of, what they said was his baby. Another thing. Prince William was born on the 21st of June, the day of the sun. And also a lot of stuff that he already made, and he is completely, he is connected with all the world leaders, yeah, like the unelected world leader, China, Canada, America. He's wailing, Prince William visit Western Wall, prays for world peace. On the Temple Mount, what we saw before, Prince was allowed to enter the Dome of the Rock, which is generally off limit for non-Muslim, and not only, you have to be a rabbi or something like that to go in the Dome of Rock. So on one side he is wailing on the Wailing Wall, on the other side he is the non-Muslim, and this is exactly what the Antichrist would be. He would be the king for all religions. So visit the Dome of the Rock. Same with all religions. He is the king of the world, not on the throne right now. But this will come. So he is with all religions in friends. And now that's like maybe some gospels, but funny still. Revealing picture, yeah. You see the complicity. You see the boring face, the annoyed face, yeah. And the kids are playing. He don't really know what is going on. But on this picture, they even talk even more. And this is Prince William. And Charles, again, is annoying, sitting there, yeah. And only everything is talking, yeah. So, this is the king of Spain. Huge complicity, right? Well, is this really the father? Or is this the father? Is this the father? Or is this the father? And this is for a reason, because the queen actually is not in one of the bloodline that should represent she don't have royal blood. And he comes from Vladimir Dracula, myth or not, or whatever. But he is not coming from the bloodline neither. He is coming from the bloodline, and Prince Diana is coming from the bloodline, royal bloodline. So the whole fake thing in front is something completely different. William's nickname in the Royal Navy, the Dragon. Prince William Wales is symbol for his real dragon. Britain's most exclusive secret society. Yeah, he grow within occult. Also the lion and the unicorn. Yeah. All these symbols. Again, Lion of England, the lion Lion of Babylon, lion here, the eagle, the unicorn. So again, if Christ represents dead, life would be the Antichrist. We have to question this self and look what is really going on, but we are surrounded by a huge pagan, satanic, Babylonian occult that wants to reverse everything, make people sick. And also this whole catastrophe that is happening, like today also in France, huge flood. We have to think about what is really going on and what they are really creating, because they are creating this kind of scenario. Here also we can see in Germany where they had this flood and a huge part of the whole land just get away. But they didn't show that under there was a mine. So of course all the water flooded the mine and take away the land. But they didn't show, with helicopter they was like from the other side and show it here. And again, the way they are manipulating the weather. We can see it here. What's going on? You can see how they are manipulating the things. And right here from Switzerland, under the Alps, and they are just creating huge weather distortion. And again, even the health organization used the same symbol of Kali, the destruction. So again, from the whole Messiah expectation to the New World Order, they will create a digital government. The Holy Scriptures are just some kind of agenda, and it's not a revelation whatsoever. They have to go through imaginary building of temples to worship the Babylonian stuff, to put people so much under pressure that all what they want is a redemption. And for that they accept the whole apocalypse, the revelation, the Antichrist. And they use it, of course, because God's revelation and God's plan is just all bullshit. They had to create it themselves through technology with CERN, a quantum computer. The hugest machine that ever was built is, of course, in this digital world, doesn't have to be there for nothing. And this through all this, to bring this digital government, they have to, of course, these sustainable development goals, to take away all the land, to take all the resources, to smash all that down and destroy the whole earth, and claim, of course, that the climate change is there if they make climate change themselves through geoengineering and so on. They have to invent some plagues, because this is part of the biblical story. They have to want to build back this Babylon, Tower Babylon, where everyone is a baby alone in one side, to split them up, to bring all together into this one world government under the rule of one king, one government, one thing. And so we can definitely see how all these stories and this apocalyptic bullshit is played out in politics, in government, in finance, in science, in this whole thing. So we really wish this is just some conspiracy bullshit, and that nothing that we just told in this whole video is true. But sadly, we have analyzed this stuff already quite a while. They announced quite clearly what they want to make. Again, it is not to kill all the people. It is to transform them into a live battery for the system, to use the whole energy and to use them as computer, as data storage, as fill them up with graphene or whatever they have in mind. But again, all this looks very dark, and it is very dark. We are exposing this whole thing already since 10 years intensively, but since 30 years we see where this whole shit is heading, and we are still here. So if this whole thing is happening or not, this depends on us. We are the ones we have been waiting for, yeah, and now today we are here. The question is what we are going to do. Will we just watch and get scared and be afraid and just give up? These plants never give up. Life never give up. Nothing in life have give up. We are still breathing, even if we are participating in many of this bullshit. So it is all up to us if we really want to let this happen, or to get really active now, to not let it happen at all, and to make people aware that no matter if they're religious, if they are fanatics of what kind of ever indoctrination they have, we have to stick together now, because this occult, this agenda, they will make it if we let it happen. So today is, of course, we can see that many people just continue to flow with it, but people maybe have to realize now that there is more to come, and it's nasty. Thanks for watching.